All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm just Mopar Joe. I'm excited to get back doing a little bit of content that I actually enjoy doing. I like bringing y'all information. I like working on engines, but it's my birthday and I'm working on my own junk. So here it is. It's my 68 Plymouth Barracuda, 512 low deck stroker. The last time I ran this, which it's not in a running order right now, I had to steal a fitting off here for a dyno deal. But, last time I ran this down the racetrack was at Sykeston at the No Name Nationals in 2024. So September of 24, the last pass this thing made. We were leaking a little bit of, well, we had a little bit of smoke hitting the header. So as you can see, I've got some staining going on down there. I'd like to know why and how and where that's coming from. That's fairly dry. I've never dug into it since then. It's been in the trailer. I've been, to keep my business, not your business, I'll say I've been very busy. So I think part of it was my dipstick tube was, transmission dipstick was overflowing, blowing out. Well, if y'all will remember, the great John Cope sent me the SFI approved case. So another reason I got this thing jacked up, I've got to get transmission out. But I was gonna do a quick crank and compression test on it just to be sure I don't have an issue that I need to correct while my transmission is getting swapped over. So I'm gonna pop all the plugs out, step one, and we'll whirl it over and see what every hole says. Last time I checked this, I think it was about 230 pounds, somewhere in there. I have it somewhere in my phone, I can look, but I won't be starting the car today. There's no need to start and run the car and get it warmed up just to burn my hands and everything else. But I will do a compression test on all these cylinders and bring you along, and then we're taking transmission out. So time is of the essence, and it's about 110 heat index. So come along, won't you? So number one, still looking great. Just below 225. I think that's where I was previously. I got my ratchet right there holding my throttle open some. Tall John got me this trigger a while back, and I sure do like it for this sort of stuff. Anyway, I'll keep going down the line. Y'all know what this looks like, the process, so I don't have to show you every one. If I find an anomaly, I'll bring it out and we'll look at it. Well, that didn't take long. Number three has 150 PSI, and I haven't ran this engine since I put the new radiator in it. But also all the rings are the equal amount of, they're dried out the same amount. So I'm not gonna squirt any oil in there. I've got my leak down tester out. I'm just gonna use it and see what happens. I'll start back at number one. Says get it on top dead center, and we'll see how it goes. I got us hooked up here. I zeroed out my gauge. I plugged it in, and it says we're at 82%, something like that. I'm gonna try number three now and just see if it has a similar reading or 100% or whatever. I hear air going somewhere, but I feel just a little bit coming through that hole right there in where the valve cover would be. So let's keep going down the line. Well, number three shows 100%. And I can feel just a little bit through that hole there. I got my vacuum port open back here. I can't feel anything. And I got my exhaust capped off. It would be blowing back through this tube here. There's my glove. He's wiggling a little bit, but that's probably from the fans blowing around here. Let's keep trying. Well, I don't know if it's good or bad, but number seven is only at 67%, looks like. So there's that. It's definitely coming through here. These ring gaps are pretty big, to be fair. But not like a hole, you know, or a broken ring, or something like that. Let's check the other side. Well, number eight's about 79%. let me keep going down the line, I guess. Number 2 is 75%, so that's a little better. Well, there we go. Cranking compression on number 8 is about 209, something like that. I'm gonna try number 2 now. Kind of go down the line and see if that's lining up with my leak down. Maybe my cheesy leak down tester from Barber Freight may not be good. Number 5 was about 162, looks like. So 3 and 5 were low there. Something strange in the neighborhood. Well, in an interesting downturn of events, I pulled this valve cover. I pulled the rocker shaft totally off. I double checked to be sure I was on top dead center with each cylinder. I reran the tests on this side, exact same results. So our engine's coming out. I figured while I'm pulling the transmission, I might as well pull the engine. And I had some little upgrades to do to this. Excuse me, it's 100 degrees out. To make it go faster. Because my goal is, with the car, get into the 5's at some point. You know, I would love to be on the cusp of like 606, even if it was 620 in hot weather. If I can dip into the 5's, that would be fine with me. That's kind of been my goal. I'm not putting max wedge, you know, ports on here or anything. No big dog heads. This is supposed to be a nice simple bracket car, but in my need for speed and all the fun, I'd like to speed it up just a hair. So that's the goal. Also, you'll notice, I know y'all have been looking at this the entire video. This is not a baby diaper, but it's close. So last year at No Name Nationals, you see that big piece of tape there? I had some kind of misfire or something down track. And it was after I let off the throttle, the car was idling down, and I tried to get back in the throttle. And I feathered a little bit, and boom, I hear a boom. My valley pan cracked, and it blew up. But that was on the bracket day, I think, and I had to finish the bracket race. I ended up getting runner-up, and then I red lit. But this is some of that, you know, PMAT or whatever you want to call it. So we popped the intake off, ran our tape through here to seal up. That was some stuff we got at Menards, like window flashing, basically. Sealed that dude back up. And I had totally forgot about it, but I've been walking by like, what is, never mind. So I think here's what happened. And y'all can argue with me on the internet because it is what it is. I've seen this before, that thing being blown up. Possibly the rings are broken on this side or on both sides. I don't have any idea. I didn't spray that much nitrous. That's what I think 175 shot or something, and I was even ramping it in with the controller. I don't think that's what did it, because it happened the day before that. So I don't know, maybe it was that misfire. Maybe I had at one point, like I got my fire core in here, there's only a very, very tiny amount of advance in that, like 10 degrees. So, and I had the lightweight spring, so after it cranks up, it immediately advances. Like at 1,000 RPM, it's advanced. So that's what I wanted, a little help starting. I've got an MSD box for it now, so I'm gonna go ahead and lock that dude back out whenever all this goes back in. But among the other heads I have to put on, I've got a bigger and badder camshaft. So I'll go over those specs when the time comes, but right now we're coming out. So I guess I'll keep filming for some of that, and y'all can hang out with me on my birthday here. Something else. Yeah, I'm taking the top starter stud nut off. These TTI hitters. They fit like within an inch of their life of touching the steering box and everywhere else. They're really, really nice. But in order to put a starter on this, you got to either pull the engine or the transmission. And now I guess the engine is probably easier to pull. Minus, I think the top bell housing bolt on the other side. Yeah. Top bell housing on the opposite side. I'm sorry, the bottom bell housing on the corner, the big bolt, 7/16, I think. Size. That jewel is an oil pan. There it is. Y'all pick up a wrench and help me instead of just watch it. Ha. Alright, let me go down there and do the other stuff. There's that pretty CRT transmission pan. I told y'all everything in this thing is CRT except the case right now. So that's why it's got to come out anyway. But here's my little life hack of the day. Buy yourself some Utz cheese balls from Walmart or your favorite grocery store. Dollar General has them too. For $5, you get a free bucket to drain into whenever you're done eating your cheese balls. So that's my tech tip of the day, I guess. I had somebody previously ask me how do I like my shifter. I do still like it. The cable's really heavy duty, and I've got a video on this shifter. I'll try to put a link if you want to see it, but it kind of has a little swivel over here. So the swivel bolt's there, and I might need to double check on my new case. Does it even have that ear? Because Cope may have eliminated that. I'm not sure. But yeah, swivel's there. It's got a little rod that hooks up right up there. All that's real nice and tidy and pops in together. On this car, I've got a urethane transmission mount, and I think Cope actually, he may have sent me some studs for that too. I can't remember. But I got elephant ears in the front, so I've never had an issue with vibration or anything like that. And if you'll remember on this side, I got another video on doing the exhaust on this car. Some people like them. They're the super thin pipes that come out as an oval, so like a 3-inch oval, 3-inch muffler. It really does help calm it down and quiet it down some, make it more bearable and point it out from underneath the car. This is my fast AFR meter. If you missed the video on that, I got one of those too. I'm gonna try to remember to link all these or put them in the description of this video. So if you get done with this video and want to watch something else, also I got a full playlist on this purple Barracuda from where I started with it and where it is now. This being the most recent video. But yeah, I'll keep pushing and we'll get all this stuff out of here in just a second. I'm almost ready. I gotta hook my little chain on the engine. Here's my chain hoist, cherry picker, whatever you want to call it. And Rick Siemens gotten on to me 100 times for not showing my little VBOR air jack. Every one of these, the unit itself is a Harbor Freight deal. Of course, that pump went bad and it leaked right there. So instead of me going to Harbor Freight and buying one, I just got this from VBOR, and check it out. I'm sure my compressor will kick on. It might last forever like this because I don't have to jack that very often. I only do that for small stuff or if I can't get an air hose over there, but most of the time I just cheat and use this. It might be the next best thing to having an overhead hoist of some kind, but it's what I got and I can move it anywhere. So I got my front, I'll just show you. My front elephant ears are undone. And all I did was take a couple bolts, bolt them to each side, made my own little brackets there. And these were the brackets off the bottom of a pinball machine. So got a 3/8 bolt that way and a couple 5/16 that way. I could weld this all to death if I want to, but I haven't had a problem with it yet. It hasn't broken any bolts or bent that bracket at all. Aluminum ears on the front side so the engine can go up and out that way real easily. I might touch my oil pan, I don't know. It's a 440 source oil pan for a B-body. It's not actually supposed to be in here, and I'll show you the clearancing that happened after the fact last year, or year before last it was, when I was in a really big hurry to get this engine in, because we only had about 8 days or something before the No Name Nationals. Let's start jacking up. And there she is. A few things. I don't mind showing y'all the good, bad, and ugly. Does not bother me one bit. Oh, let me think. So this B-body 440 source oil pan, when I ordered it from Brandon, he's like, you can try it in your A-body if you want to. And I did. And I believe our center link, drag link, whatever you want to call it, just barely hit right there, so I had to clearance it a little. It has sat here. I think the other ones have a lower profile there, but this dude holds more oil, excuse me. And the story behind this, let me throw the clip in right now. The very first test drive with the engine in the car. It was a Friday afternoon. I was hustling to get it in so we could go race test on Sunday, and boom! So I went and laid out on the under the trailer, and I saw that, holy cow, the freeze plug shot out of it, and it's the little shallow ones. I don't like those little shallow dudes, but that's what we put in when I was at Rick's, and he let me drive them in with his fancy driver, but I'm replacing that thing now, so hallelujah, another improvement that needed to be done. But there she is in all her glory. Now it's time to get our transmission out, and I'm probably going to pull that passenger side header at some point. If I do it today, that's fine, just 3 bolts, you know, and clean it up, get some of that nasty oil off there. These headers were bought for me as a gift from a viewer of the channel, and he'll be in the comments, I promise you, so he knows he's appreciated. Also, I'm getting his Little Red Express truck back soon, so you'll get to see it with a big 360 build going on before you know it. But let's get our converter out and transmission out the bottom. That'll be fun. Well, there she is out. I got it over here out of the way. Looks like at some point, had a rock or something. I can get you in there. Had a rock or something bounce around, got a little ugly. All my bolts are still tight and in. we're eliminating this goofy vent. I did have to run a tube from this because my very first pass, it puked everywhere, over and over and over. So I ran a tube up to a catch can and it leaked on me again, so that was another pain. So that's going away. Got some old white chalkiness from corrosion or something going on. But it's what's on the inside that counts. Been a pretty good little half-day project, and I did get to bond with my race car a little bit more, so I haven't done that in a while. I got that old header off over there to get cleaned up. And I appreciate y'all watching, and for everybody that says happy birthday, thank y'all. Follow along and you'll see what the inside of this thing looks like soon. But I got 3 or 4 more deals in line before this, so just stay tuned, you'll see it all. All right, Mopar people.